Well, let's go back to Lebanon for another update on an aspect of the Lebanon story, I guess you could say. A judge there has issued a warrant for the arrest of the manager of the port in Beirut. He is already detained at home. Almost 3,000 tons of highly explosive chemicals stored improperly at the port blew up on August the 4th. More than 200 people were killed. Hundreds of thousands were left homeless. Stephanie Decker joins us live from the port area. Steph, what happens to this individual next?
Well, as you mentioned, he's already been detained around 10 days ago, along with 24 others. So we are understanding that his lawyer can appeal, but basically what this means is that he is now officially arrested. Today he was questioned for 4 hours, around 4 hours, by the judge. Yesterday, the head of the customs of the port underwent the same kind of questioning. He also had an official arrest warrant issued. So basically what you're seeing now, Peter, is small steps in sort of officiating the detention of the individuals who are in charge of this port as part of this investigation. Again, this is an investigation being carried out by the Lebanese. You do have the FBI and the French involved in it when it comes to the forensics. But certainly, interestingly, we were talking to a family a little earlier today. Their husband and father worked at those silos and actually called them around half an hour before the explosion happened. They know exactly where he was, and he says he's still missing. They don't believe the search is continuing. They're getting no information from anyone. And they say what they want is an international investigation because they hold the system here. And interesting, your guest was saying that, can the system be reformed? Well, many people here think no. And they believe that it can only be an international investigation that gets real answers as to what happened here and who is responsible.
So even in its current form, the investigation is multi-agency, multi-country. But 2 points, I guess, Steph. Point number one, who's pushing it, who's driving the investigation? And point number two, how's that going down with the people of Beirut?
Yes, well, it's led by the Lebanese. It took a while to appoint a judge who seemed to be acceptable to all sides, which again, a lot of people here would tell you that they were looking for someone who was going to be less independent. People here are calling for an independent investigation, Peter, because they've lost faith in the elites, in this system that has been so entrenched here for decades. And that's basically, they blame this as a symbol, really, of what's endemic here: corruption, mismanagement, negligence. I mean, we saw the protest movement. You and I spoke back in October when people were protesting against basic needs, saying this is a government that doesn't even take care of the basic needs of its people. It doesn't remove sewage. It doesn't provide us with 24-hour electricity. It doesn't provide us with clean water. It doesn't do anything that an elected government needs to do. It's only more concerned with lining its pockets. And the catastrophic explosion that you saw happen here, again, allowing that amount of explosive material to be stored in the middle of a heavily populated capital. I mean, you've seen the pictures over the last 2 weeks, and just looking behind the camera, it is a skeleton of a city. It is a broken people. The people I've been speaking to just arriving here in the last couple of days will tell you this time it's different. We are strong. We've been through civil wars. We've seen assassinations. But this time, the explosion came into our homes, unexpected. One woman who lost her husband said, it came in, it took out our happiness, it took out our souls. Another man I spoke to, a diver, a volunteer who was diving here in the days after the explosion, said, nothing is going to change. It's simply going to continue. He said, but again, this is different. We've all been traumatized. And he says, I think you're going to see an exodus of people. You're going to see an exodus of Lebanese wanting to leave the country because they've never seen anything like this before. And certainly a lot of people won't have hope that anything is going to change anytime soon. What's happened to the city, Peter, has been catastrophic. It's going to take billions of dollars to rebuild. It's an economy that was already in tatters. People have lost most of their life savings. You've had that. You have Corona on the rise. It's a very sad situation here at the moment. People not very hopeful at all.
Stephanie Decker, thank you. Steph Decker there, our correspondent reporting live from Beirut.